Video is going to show you how to answer sort of task 1 and task 2 of the logistics chapter for your pre-production booklet. So it's the most in-depth bit, I would say, but just write down what I tell you in these videos, put it in your own words, and you're good to go. So the first part of this chapter, you will need to introduce what is logistics and just describe the sort of 4 or 5 main key areas of film logistics. So what is logistics? So logistics is sort of the organisation of different parts of a production. So in essence, it is essentially just the planning and scheduling of a film shoot. It's as simple as that. It's a posh way of saying planning. Planning and organisation of a film shoot. So that's normally the responsibility of someone called the production manager, who might then have a team of line managers working beneath them who control the different areas of a film shoot. Okay, so key skills for that might be communication and organisation, clearly key skills when organising, and the different areas of film production and logistics are as follows. So once you've kind of described what logistics are, you will need to describe each of the different areas. So a big part of film planning or film logistics is time, the planning of time, time management. So it normally involves stuff like production and shooting schedules, the booking of equipment, the cast, the crew, locations, and just drawing up plans regarding sort of timescales for shoots, for example, time needed to be spent in different locations and different places around the world. Estimating times needed to complete each part of the film, estimating times that certain actors, cast, crew will need to spend on set, estimating different post-production timescale. So how long is it going to take for certain special effects to be put on pieces of work? So logistics and time is essentially just the organisation of time, making sure everyone's kind of meeting these deadlines in order for a successful shoot. You will also need to sort of organise things around locations. So that's normally done by the location recce coordinator, and they will carry out something called a location recce. So that's essentially they will visit different places around the world and ensure that those places are suitable for filming, but also ensure that they have the right permits, that health and safety checks are carried out, and that any other sort of costs, so for example travel insurance, taxes for filming in different areas, are explored and considered as well. So logistics and locations is important, as I say, without the necessary sort of legal work or budgets, locations may be changed at the last minute, which will of course impact on the budgets, and some rules and regulations such as cast and crew pay and conditions will be impacted as well. So you do need to make sure that you plan for your locations really well. Another thing that needs planning are the use of facilities. So it's important to plan what facilities are needed on a film shoot and when they are needed as well. So for example, facilities like special effects suites, sound studios, editing suites, sound stages, studios, film studios. Basically they are the things that you need to complete your film. So poor facilities planning, for example, not to use a studio space for the required time frame may lead to kind of cost spiralling out of control. It might also impact on the film's release date, and even sort of post-production activities like editing as a result of the film not being finished on time. So you need to make sure that you are planning for the use of facilities as well. A large part of a film production is the personnel. So a large part of pre-production is getting the right people on the job for the right price and for the right amount of time. So for example, if you hire a big Hollywood star, they may only have a short time frame in which to perform their role due to other commitments. So they might have other roles in other films that they need to film at the same time. So poor planning in the pre-production stage may result in these scenes being sort of unfinished, which would push up the budget on wages because you'd have to rehire the actor at another point, and then you'd have to rehire the crew and so on, and those costs spiral out of control. So it's really important that on a film set you plan and organise when different people are needed, and you need to stick to that rigidly. And the last one might be materials, so that would be like props and costumes. So it must be sure that they have the right props at the right time for the right price. So props and costumes need to be sourced and booked by a team, and those deadlines need to be set regarding to when those props and costumes are needed on a film set. So for example, if you hire a certain prop and that deadline is missed, it might result in a possible halt to filming, which might have a domino effect on the rest of the schedule. So as you can see, it's pretty important. So what you'd need to do is kind of use those ideas and just briefly just describe what is meant by time, logistics and time, logistics and location, logistics and facilities, logistic and personnel, and logistics and materials. Essentially, you're briefly describing to me what those different areas are and maybe why they're important as well.